What if the only thing standing between you and true peace is the voice inside your own head? There is a silent battle happening within you every single day. It is not with your boss, not with your family, not with the economy, not even with your past. It is with your own thoughts. The endless overthinking, the replaying of old conversations, the imaginary arguments, the fear of what might happen tomorrow, the regret of what happened yesterday. You are physically present in your life, but mentally trapped in a world that does not even exist. And the more you live in your head, the more you lose the peace that is available to you right now. The ancient Stoics understood this deeply. Think of Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire under constant pressure, war, betrayal, and uncertainty. Yet in his private reflections, he reminded himself of one powerful truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. That single realization is freedom. When you finally stop trying to control everything outside of you and start mastering what is within, life becomes lighter, calmer, clearer. Overthinking feels productive, but it is a disguised form of fear. You tell yourself you are preparing, analyzing, planning, but in reality, you are resisting life. The Stoics like Epictetus taught that suffering does not come from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. The moment you stop labeling everything as good or bad, success or failure, disaster or miracle, something extraordinary happens. Your nervous system relaxes, your shoulders drop, your breath deepens. You begin to live instead of mentally rehearsing life. Imagine waking up without immediately checking your phone. Imagine sitting quietly for a few minutes, observing your thoughts instead of becoming them. Most people wake up and instantly enter their heads. They scroll, they compare, they worry, they react. But a Stoic morning begins with awareness. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. And once you see that clearly, their power over you weakens. Peace does not come from solving every problem. It comes from changing your relationship with your mind. Seneca warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about that. How many sleepless nights have come from scenarios that never even happened? How many arguments have you replayed that the other person has already forgotten? When you finally step out of your head and into the present moment, you realize something shocking. Most of your suffering was self-created. Living in your head disconnects you from your senses. The warmth of sunlight, the sound of birds in the morning, the taste of your food, the feeling of your breath. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion. It is about grounding yourself in reality. Right now, as you listen to this, notice your breathing. Notice the space around you. Notice the simple fact that in this moment, you are okay. That awareness is power. The mind loves control. It wants certainty. It wants guarantees. But life has never promised certainty. When you accept uncertainty instead of fighting it, anxiety loses its grip. You stop asking, what if everything goes wrong? And you start asking, what if I handle whatever comes? That shift changes everything. It transforms you from a worrier into a warrior of calm. When you stop living in your head, relationships improve. You actually listen instead of preparing your response. You experience conversations instead of analyzing them afterward. You allow silence without discomfort. You become present, and presence is rare. In a world addicted to distraction, the most powerful person in the room is the one who is fully there. Your mind will resist this change. It will try to pull you back into old habits of overthinking. That is normal. The Stoic path is practice, not perfection. Each time you notice you are spiraling into unnecessary worry, gently return to the present, not with anger, not with self-criticism, with discipline and patience. Mastery of the mind is built in small, daily moments. There is a quiet confidence that emerges when you are no longer trapped in mental noise. You walk slower, you speak calmer, you decide more carefully, you react less impulsively. People feel it around you. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is stable, and stability attracts respect. Most people chase happiness through achievements, money, validation, or attention. But peace is not found in more, it is found in less. Less mental clutter, less comparison, less imaginary fear. When you reduce the noise in your head, you make space for clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions, stronger boundaries, and a more intentional life. If this message resonates with you, take a moment right now and commit to training your mind daily. And subscribe to this channel for more powerful Stoic wisdom that will help you master your thoughts, build inner strength, and create unshakable peace. When you subscribe, you are not just following a channel. You are choosing growth. You are choosing discipline. You are choosing transformation. Let us go deeper. The practice begins with awareness. Throughout your day, catch yourself drifting into unnecessary mental stories. When you are washing dishes, just wash dishes. When you are walking, just walk. When you are working, just work. Simple, but not easy. Your mind will try to escape into fantasy or fear. Gently bring it back, over and over again. That repetition is mental training. Another Stoic principle is negative visualization. Instead of obsessively fearing loss, you calmly acknowledge that everything is temporary. Your job, your possessions, even your life. This is not depressing. It is liberating. When you accept impermanence, you appreciate what you have now. You stop clinging. You stop panicking. You become grateful. When you stop living in your head, you also stop taking everything personally. Someone ignores your message. Someone criticizes you. Someone misunderstands you. Instead of creating a dramatic story in your mind, you pause. You consider other explanations. You choose not to internalize every external action. That emotional detachment is strength. There is immense freedom in saying, "This is outside my control." The weather, other people's opinions, the past. Once you truly accept what you cannot control, you redirect your energy to what you can, your effort, your attitude, your character. That is where real power lies. Over time, something beautiful happens. Silence no longer feels uncomfortable. Being alone no longer feels lonely. You are no longer desperate for distraction because you are at peace with your own presence. That is when life becomes peaceful again. Not because circumstances changed, but because you did. Take this as your reminder. You do not need to solve your entire future tonight. You do not need to replay yesterday again. You do not need to win every imaginary argument in your head. You need to breathe. You need to act on what is in front of you. You need to trust your ability to handle what comes. If you want to continue learning how to detach from overthinking, strengthen your discipline, and build a calm, powerful mindset, subscribe to this channel now. Join a community that values wisdom over noise and growth over comfort. More deep Stoic teachings are coming your way, and you do not want to miss them. When you finally stop living in your head, you return to reality. And reality, when seen clearly, is far more peaceful than the chaos of imagination. Stay present, stay disciplined, and choose peace, again and again. The more you practice stepping out of your head, the more you begin to notice how quiet strength feels. It is not loud motivation. It is not dramatic transformation. It is subtle. It is steady. It is waking up and choosing not to entertain every anxious thought. It is feeling fear and still moving forward without creating a catastrophe in your imagination. That is real growth. Most people are addicted to mental noise. They think if they stop thinking constantly, they will fall behind. But the opposite is true. Clarity creates focus. Focus creates execution. Execution creates results. When your mind is no longer scattered across past regrets and future fears, your energy becomes concentrated. And concentrated energy is powerful. Remember how often your thoughts exaggerate reality. A small mistake becomes a disaster in your head. A delay becomes a life crisis. A rejection becomes a permanent label. But when you pause and look at the facts, most situations are manageable. The Stoic mindset trains you to respond based on truth, not emotional distortion. There is also a deep freedom in accepting that not every thought deserves your attention. Just because a thought appears does not mean it is important. Your mind produces thousands of thoughts daily. Some are useful, many are noise. Wisdom is learning the difference. When a negative spiral begins, you can say to yourself, "This thought does not serve me," and then gently let it go. Picture yourself sitting quietly at the end of the day. No music, no scrolling, no distraction, just stillness. At first, your mind will scream for stimulation. It will replay conversations. It will remind you of unfinished tasks. It will invent worries. But if you stay with the silence, something shifts. The storm slows down. The waves settle. You realize that peace was always underneath the noise. Living outside your head does not mean you stop planning. It means you plan intentionally and then release what you cannot control. You prepare, but you do not obsess. You act, but you do not cling. You care, but you do not panic. That balance is maturity. When you master this, your confidence changes. It is no longer fragile. It does not depend on praise. It does not collapse with criticism. Because your stability comes from within, not from external approval. You become less reactive, less defensive, less desperate to prove yourself. And that quiet confidence speaks louder than any words. Many people are physically alive but mentally absent. They miss conversations because they are thinking about something else. They miss opportunities because they are trapped in fear. They miss joy because they are rehearsing problems. Do not let that be your life. This moment is real. This breath is real. This opportunity is real. Each day, practice returning to the present. When anxiety arises, focus on what is directly in front of you. One task, one conversation, one action. Break life into manageable pieces. The mind panics when it tries to carry the entire future at once. But it calms down when it handles what is here now. And as you continue this journey of mastering your thoughts and reclaiming your peace, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Join a growing community of disciplined minds who are committed to living with clarity, strength, and purpose. When you subscribe, you remind yourself that growth is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. You deserve a peaceful mind. You deserve to experience life instead of constantly analyzing it. You deserve to feel grounded instead of overwhelmed. But that peace will not come from outside validation or endless distraction. It will come from training your inner world. So the next time your mind tries to drag you into unnecessary worry, pause. Take a slow breath. Remind yourself that most of what you fear exists only in imagination. Then return to action. Return to reality. Return to the present. If this message is helping you shift your mindset, subscribe now and stay connected for more powerful Stoic insights that will strengthen your discipline and transform the way you think. There is so much more depth to explore, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. When you finally stop living in your head, you realize something profound. Life was never as chaotic as your thoughts made it seem. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the overthinking, there has always been peace waiting for you. Choose to step into it. Every single day, there is a powerful shift that happens when you stop arguing with reality inside your mind. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "How can I respond with strength?" That single change transforms you from a victim of circumstances into a student of life. And students grow. Victims stay stuck. When you live in your head, you exaggerate discomfort. A difficult conversation becomes unbearable. A small failure becomes humiliation. A delay becomes proof that you are behind in life. But when you step out of mental drama and into objective awareness, you see things as they are. A conversation is just a conversation. A failure is feedback. A delay is time to prepare better. This is what inner discipline looks like. It is invisible. No one applauds you for the thoughts you refuse to entertain. No one sees the battles you win in silence. But those private victories shape your character more than any public achievement ever could. Think about how much energy you waste replaying the past. The mind loves to revisit old mistakes, awkward moments, missed chances. Yet the past cannot be edited. It cannot be negotiated with. It cannot be relived. The only power you have is in how you interpret it now. You can choose to see it as shame, or you can choose to see it as training. The same applies to the future. The future is neutral. It has not decided to hurt you. It has not decided to reward you. It is simply unknown. And uncertainty is not danger. It is possibility. When you stop predicting worst-case scenarios, you create space for better outcomes. True Stoic strength is calm under pressure. It is the ability to pause before reacting. It is the discipline to say less, observe more, and respond wisely. When you no longer let every thought control you, you begin to control your responses, and your responses shape your destiny. Ask yourself honestly, how many of your problems are happening right now in this exact moment? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Most of the time, the answer is very few. But your mind creates a constant sense of urgency and threat. The moment you recognize this pattern, you begin to free yourself from it. Peaceful people are not people without problems. They are people who have trained their minds. They understand that thoughts are suggestions, not commands. They understand that emotions are signals, not dictators. They understand that reaction is a choice. Imagine living each day grounded. You wake up and instead of immediately diving into comparison and worry, you take control of your focus. You move with intention. You speak with clarity. You listen with patience. That is what happens when you stop living in your head and start living in reality. And if you are serious about mastering your mind and building this kind of inner stability, subscribe to this channel right now. This is not just content. This is training. Every video is designed to sharpen your discipline, strengthen your mindset, and help you detach from unnecessary suffering. Subscribe and commit to becoming mentally unshakable. Over time, you will notice something remarkable. Situations that once triggered you will no longer have the same power. Criticism will feel lighter. Delays will feel manageable. Silence will feel comfortable. You will not need constant validation because your confidence will come from self-control. Your mind may still produce anxious thoughts that will never completely disappear, but you will relate to them differently. Instead of being pulled into every storm, you will stand on the shore and observe the waves. You will understand that thoughts pass, emotions pass, moments pass, and you remain steady. There is freedom in not needing to mentally control every outcome. There is strength in accepting that you cannot predict everything. There is peace in trusting yourself to handle whatever comes. That trust is built through daily practice. So today, make a decision. Not a loud, dramatic decision. A quiet one. Decide that you will no longer entertain unnecessary mental suffering. Decide that you will pause before reacting. Decide that you will return to the present again and again. And as you continue this journey toward clarity and inner calm, subscribe to this channel so you never miss the tools and insights that will keep strengthening your mindset. Join this community of disciplined thinkers who refuse to be controlled by overthinking. When you finally stop living in your head, you do not lose control, you gain it. You gain control over your focus, your reactions, your energy, your peace. Life becomes simpler, not because it changes, but because you do. Stay grounded, stay aware, and choose peace over mental chaos. Every single day, the greatest transformation in your life will not be visible at first. It will not announce itself with applause or dramatic change. It will begin quietly, in the space between a thought and your reaction. In that small gap, you will choose awareness instead of impulse, calm instead of chaos, presence instead of projection. Most people never realize how much of their exhaustion comes from mental resistance. They fight reality in their minds. They argue with things that already happened. They fear situations that have not even arrived. And in doing so, they drain themselves before life even begins each day. When you stop resisting what is and start working with it, your energy returns. You begin to notice how peaceful simple living feels. Doing one task at a time. Finishing what you start. Speaking only when necessary. Listening more than you talk. There is power in simplicity. The Stoic path is not complicated. It is disciplined awareness practiced daily. When a negative thought appears, you no longer panic. You examine it. Is this within my control? If yes, act. If not, release it. That single filter can eliminate most unnecessary stress in your life. It trains your mind to focus only on what truly matters. And as you build this habit, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as anxious, overwhelmed, or unlucky. You start seeing yourself as capable, resilient, and grounded. Identity is shaped by repeated action. Each time you choose presence over overthinking, you reinforce a stronger version of yourself. There will still be hard days. Stoicism does not remove difficulty. It prepares you for it. When challenges come, you will not collapse into mental noise. You will assess. You will adapt. You will endure. That calm endurance is rare in today's distracted world. You also begin to value silence. Silence becomes your reset button. Instead of filling every quiet moment with scrolling or entertainment, you allow space for reflection. In that space, clarity grows. In that clarity, better decisions are made. This is how life becomes peaceful again. Not because problems disappear, but because your internal reaction softens. The world may remain unpredictable, but your mind becomes steady, and a steady mind can navigate any storm. If you are ready to fully commit to mastering your thoughts and building unshakable inner peace, subscribe to this channel right now. Make it a daily investment in your mindset. Every video here is designed to help you grow stronger, calmer, and more disciplined. Do not just watch. Commit, subscribe, and become part of this movement toward mental clarity. Remember, the mind can be your greatest weapon or your greatest prison. The choice is yours. Each day you wake up, you decide whether to live in imagination or in reality, whether to rehearse fear or practice strength, whether to chase noise or cultivate peace. Choose wisely. And if you found value in this message, subscribe to this channel and stay connected for more Stoic wisdom that will elevate your thinking and transform your life. There is so much more depth ahead, and you do not want to miss it. When you finally step out of your head and into the present moment, you will discover something powerful. Peace was never far away. It was simply buried beneath unnecessary thought. Clear the noise. Focus on what you control. Act with discipline. Rest in awareness, and let your life become peaceful again. There is a moment in every person's life when they realize that constant thinking is not the same as progress, that worrying is not the same as preparing, that replaying the past is not the same as learning. When that realization hits you, something shifts. You stop glorifying mental chaos and start valuing mental clarity. Clarity feels different. It feels slower, but stronger. It feels quieter, but more powerful. Instead of rushing to conclusions, you observe. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond intentionally. Instead of assuming the worst, you focus on what you can influence. That is maturity. That is strength. You begin to understand that your thoughts are tools, not rulers. You use them when necessary, and you put them down when they are no longer useful. Just like you would not carry a heavy weight all day without reason, you no longer carry unnecessary worries from morning to night. When you stop living in your head, you also stop seeking constant validation. You do not need everyone to agree with you. You do not need to explain yourself to every critic. You do not need to defend every decision. Your peace becomes more important than winning arguments. There is power in letting people misunderstand you. There is power in walking away from pointless debates. There is power in silence. Not weak silence. Not fearful silence. But disciplined silence. The kind that comes from self-control. As you practice this daily, your emotional stability increases. Situations that once ruined your entire day become small inconveniences. Delays become time to think. Criticism becomes feedback. Rejection becomes redirection. Your perspective changes, and with it, your experience of life changes. Peace is not something you find. It is something you allow. It is already available when you stop feeding unnecessary mental noise. The moment you stop arguing with reality, reality feels lighter. And if you are serious about building this level of discipline and inner calm, subscribe to this channel right now. Make the decision to train your mind consistently. Do not rely on motivation alone. Rely on commitment. Subscribe and surround yourself with messages that strengthen your mindset daily. Think about the kind of person you want to become. Calm under pressure. Focused in chaos. Confident without arrogance. Grounded without being passive. That version of you is built through repetition, through daily awareness, through catching your thoughts before they control you. Every time you pause before reacting, you are building that person. Every time you choose presence over panic, you are strengthening your character. Every time you let go of something outside your control, you are freeing yourself. Life will always present challenges, but you no longer need to create extra ones in your mind. The world is already complex. Your thoughts do not need to make it heavier. So today, simplify. Focus on what is in front of you. Complete one task fully. Have one conversation with full attention. Take one breath with awareness. These small acts compound into a peaceful life. And as you continue walking this path of stoic growth, Subscribe to this channel so you never miss the insights that will keep sharpening your discipline and deepening your peace. Join this community of individuals who are choosing awareness over anxiety and strength over stress. Remember this: the mind is a powerful servant but a dangerous master. Train it gently, guide it consistently, discipline it patiently. When you finally stop living in your head, you stop surviving and start truly living. Stay present, stay disciplined, and let peace become your new normal. At some point, you begin to notice that the quality of your life is directly connected to the quality of your focus. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. If your attention lives in regret, you feel heavy. If it lives in fear, you feel anxious. But if it lives in the present moment, you feel steady. Most people underestimate how much control they truly have. You may not control the economy. You may not control other people's opinions. You may not control sudden changes, but you always control where you place your attention. And that is enough to transform your experience of life. When you stop living in your head, you stop magnifying problems. You see them clearly, without emotional exaggeration. You deal with them directly, without mental drama. You solve what can be solved and accept what cannot. That balance creates strength. You also begin to trust yourself more. Instead of mentally rehearsing every possible failure, you remind yourself that you have survived every difficult day so far. You have adapted. You have learned. You have endured. That evidence builds quiet confidence. The mind will still attempt to pull you back into old habits. It will whisper doubts. It will replay memories. It will predict disaster. But now you recognize the pattern. You do not fight the thought aggressively. You simply choose not to follow it. You return to your breath, to your task, to your reality. Over time, this practice builds emotional endurance. Just like physical training strengthens muscles, mental discipline strengthens resilience. The more you practice presence, the less reactive you become. The less reactive you become, the more peaceful your life feels. There is something powerful about becoming the calmest person in the room. Not because you lack emotion, but because you have mastered it. You do not need to raise your voice to prove your point. You do not need to rush decisions. You do not need to panic when things change. Your stability becomes your advantage. Imagine the freedom of not needing to overanalyze every interaction, the relief of not replaying conversations before sleep, the clarity of not waking up with immediate anxiety about the future. This is possible, not through luck, not through perfection, but through daily awareness. Each morning, remind yourself of one simple truth: I will focus only on what I can control today. That intention alone can shift your entire mindset. Throughout the day, when stress appears, return to that statement. It becomes your anchor. And if you want consistent reminders, practical mental tools, and deeper Stoic insights to strengthen this discipline, subscribe to this channel right now. Do not leave your growth to chance. Subscribe and commit to becoming mentally unshakable. Every video is a step toward mastering your mind. As you continue this journey, you will notice that peace is not boring. It is powerful. It allows you to think clearly, to act wisely, to build steadily. Chaos feels intense, but peace creates progress. You are not meant to live trapped in mental noise. You are meant to live aware, intentional, and grounded. The world may remain unpredictable, but your inner world can become stable. So choose awareness today. Choose presence today. Choose discipline today. And before you leave, subscribe to this channel and join a community dedicated to growth, strength, and Stoic wisdom. Stay connected. Stay committed. Stay evolving. When you finally stop living in your head, you stop fighting life and start flowing with it. That is where peace begins. As you continue to practice this discipline, you will notice something subtle but life-changing. You stop reacting to every emotional impulse. You create space, and in that space, wisdom grows. The world moves fast. Social media moves fast. Opinions move fast. News moves fast. But you do not have to move at the same speed. When you stop living in your head, you stop chasing every mental distraction. You move with intention. You choose your responses carefully. You protect your inner world like something valuable, because it is. Your mind was never meant to be a battlefield. It was meant to be a tool. Yet most people let it run wild. unchecked, undisciplined. They believe every thought, they obey every fear, they argue with invisible enemies. But you are different now. You are learning to observe before engaging. When a stressful situation appears, you pause, you breathe, you ask yourself, what is actually happening right now? Not what might happen, not what could go wrong. What is real in this moment? That question alone can dissolve layers of anxiety. The more present you become, the more grateful you become. Because presence reveals what overthinking hides. It shows you that not everything is falling apart. It shows you that you are capable. It shows you that many of your fears were exaggerations created by an undisciplined mind. And here is the truth most people avoid. Peace requires responsibility. You must take ownership of your thoughts. You must choose what you entertain. You must decide what deserves your attention. That level of ownership is uncomfortable at first, but it is empowering. Each day becomes training. Each challenge becomes practice. Each trigger becomes an opportunity to strengthen your composure. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, how can I respond with excellence? Over time, your identity shifts completely. You are no longer the person controlled by overthinking. You are the person who thinks clearly and acts decisively. You are no longer overwhelmed by small inconveniences. You are steady, measured, focused. And if you are committed to becoming that version of yourself, subscribe to this channel right now. This is your space for mental discipline, stoic growth, and inner strength. Do not just watch one video and forget. Subscribe and make this part of your daily mindset training. Remember, peace is not passive. It is powerful. It allows you to build without burnout, to succeed without losing yourself, to face difficulty without collapsing mentally. The journey does not end here. Mastering your mind is a lifelong process. There will be setbacks. There will be days when your thoughts feel louder. But now you have awareness, and awareness changes everything. So keep practicing. Keep returning to the present. Keep releasing what you cannot control. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel and stay connected to the wisdom that will keep sharpening your mindset. Join a community that values calm over chaos and discipline over distraction. When you finally stop living in your head, you stop fighting imaginary battles, and you start winning real ones. Choose presence. Choose strength. Choose peace.